just want to welcome you all officially to the Changemaker Sessions. Tonight, our theme is Face, a tool for when you're struggling. And I want to welcome to those of you who are watching the replay as well. So for anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Kimberly Carroll, and I am a coach for change makers. I help those who are trying to make a better world with those inner shifts, with building habits, with creating strategic planning to take you and your mission to the next level. So this evening, we are going to do some of that inner work, and we are going to workshop a tool called Face. So this is a tool that I've developed that folks can pull out whenever they're struggling with difficult situations or feelings. And so I'm really excited. This is a tool that I love and a lot of my coachees love. So I'm really excited to share it with you tonight. But first, let's get the chat warmed up. I want to hear what's happening out there, folks. Tell us in the chat where you're joining us from. And I'd also love to hear what difficult feeling or state you might be experiencing recently. And I'm not going to connect your name to it. I'll just say, I'll just call out some of the different, difficult emotions, situations or feelings that come up in the chat. I'm just going to bring up the chat so I can see what's happening with everybody. If you're not sure how to access the chat, it should be right at the bottom. You may need to expand your screen in order to be able to see it. Meanwhile, I see Patricia's joined us. Yay. So good to see you, Patricia. And yeah, I love seeing all these folks. Okay, everybody's being shy now. Okay, I need to know where, at least that you're alive and that you are on the chat. Susanna, can you hear us, darling, now? Yay, good.
On my phone. I'm on my phone.
Yay. Okay, so glad to have you join us from Mexico. Yay. So we have Tenebrae joining from Denver. We have Kirsten joining us from Halifax. Jennifer is joining us from West Vancouver. Shannon is joining us from Ottawa. Carrie from Vancouver. Shanase from Northern Illinois. Excellent. We've got Toronto in the crowd. New Brunswick, of course. Ken is joining us for New Brunswick. Okay, and I'm also going to just share some of the difficult situations or feelings that folks are experiencing. I'm seeing nightmares wake me up. Overwhelm, man, can I relate to that one? Struggling with the meaning of life. Oh, I think we can all relate to that one. Another overwhelm. The feeling of neglect has been coming up, or the situation of neglect. So that'll be interesting to look at. So one person is saying, I'm feeling really good about my activism, and it is key to overcoming the sadness and the suffering of animals. Okay, so yeah, but it sounds like there is still some sadness, and so that might be a really great thing for us to work on tonight. Old friendships fizzling out. Yeah, that can be one that can really hang on to us. So these are really good. We've got stuck, we've got anxious, more anxiety. So yeah, good. I'm glad you brought some juicy stuff here tonight, folks. Give us something to work on. And I just want to make it clear, of course, you're going to have feelings and situations in life that are difficult. Many of you are on a path of trying to make the world a better place, trying to make a difference. Generally, life is hard. And even if you are somebody who has done tons of work, has tons of age and wisdom behind you, you're still always going to run into pain in life, okay? It's inevitable. What we don't want is we don't want you suffering. We don't want you to make that pain bigger than it actually has to be. And we don't want it to stop you from doing the important work that you're doing in the world. And when you are, like I said, a change maker, there's an extra layer of stuff, right? You're taking responsibility for so much more beyond yourself. You are inserting yourself into the problems, the sadnesses, the challenges, the rage of others that are hurting. You're juggling a lot of things. Okay. Every change maker I know pretty well is like, do I do A first or Z first or N? I don't know. So it's extra important that you here have a tool that's going to help you not get stuck in something for a week or a month or a year, but actually to have a tool that when there's hurt happening, and whether that hurt is anxiety, whether it is exhaustion, whether it is loneliness, whether it is rage, whether it is confusion, I want you to know that there's something that you can sort of fall back on. So this tonight, what I want to do is I want to take these situations that are causing these feelings and do a 4-step process on them to help you get unstuck. And that's my mission, folks, to get you unstuck, because you're the ones out there trying to do good in the world, and we need you to be doing good in the world. And it's really hard to be effective in helping others and the planet if you're just hemorrhaging energy. Okay, so we need to find ways for you to sort of be able to fairly efficiently process the different types of difficulties that come up in your life. So let me tell you a little bit about FACE. I use a variety of techniques to help my coachees break through blocks. But I found I wanted to have like a little all-purpose tool that they could use in a variety of circumstances, and one that's easy to remember, because I don't know about you, but you can learn lots of stuff, but when you get into sort of a high pressure situation, or you get into a place where you're feeling lost, or you're already feeling activated, like trying to figure out which thing to grab for what, it can be very hard. So I wanted, that's why FACE is an acronym. Okay. Feel, ask, care, and evolve. And of course, those are just the tip of the iceberg for a process that goes a lot deeper. But to have that acronym really, really does help. And so the plan, I think what I'd like to do tonight is I'm first going to take you through an experience of FACE. So I'm actually going to guide you through an example of it. And then we're going to break it down so that you are able to use it all on your own, from this workshop on. So this is a workshop, not a listen shop. I hope you brought your pen, your paper, and some ideas. Tenebrae said, pain is inevitable, suffering is not. Yeah, absolutely. So what I'd like for you to decide on is a situation or a state that you're in that you've been struggling with. Okay. Now, this could be a really bad argument that you just had. It could be an event that's stressing you out. That's coming up. It could be something you saw in your activism that's really weighing on you. It could be a health challenge you're having. It could be a relationship, a friendship, or whatever that you're feeling really shitty about. It could be a project that has a deadline, and you're feeling just completely blank, or you're procrastinating. The alternative is you may just be feeling a state. Okay. You may actually not be thinking of a situation, but you just might be feeling lately in a state of anxiety, or you might just be feeling really angry lately, or you might be feeling, if I were to name one for myself right now, I'd say rushed. I've been feeling very rushed this week. Okay. And so I'd work on rushed. You might be feeling a lot of guilt, or loneliness lately, or resentment towards someone. Again, that would be more of a situation. So I'm going to give you, and there might be a lot of things, but for the purposes of tonight, I'd like for you to just choose one. Okay. Now, if it's an energy as opposed to a situation, what you're going to need to do is you're just going to need to conjure up in your mind for this exercise a situation where this has come up recently, or where you felt this. Okay. So again, I might be feeling anxiety a lot, but is there a particular situation maybe in the last day or week, or just generally, where that anxiety really becomes evident? Okay. Or I might be just generally like short on the fuse. But is there a place in particular where the anger has kind of welled up? So yeah. So everybody needs to start with a situation. And if you're having any troubles pinpointing a feeling or a situation, or actually, if you're having any troubles pinpointing a situation, just put your hand up and I can help you work through it a little. All right. Looks like we're good. It looks like we've got everything. Hiker Bean, so glad you could join us, darling. All right. So I want you to get comfortable. I want you to make sure your door is closed because I am going to take you through this experience, and sometimes it brings up a lot of stuff. And so I want you to be prepared to do a little journey right now. I'm going to recommend that you close your eyes or you cast your gaze downward. Okay. And the cue for this tool is when you are feeling activated or in pain in some way. So you've already found yours. So there we go. And now just closing your eyes if you haven't already. And let's take in a couple of deep breaths just to set the space for this. Good. Couple of deep breaths. Slowing down the breathing. And, sometimes when you come to this tool, a face, you're going to feel like you're jumping out of your skin. Okay. Like when you grab this tool in the moment, you are sometimes going to feel like, oh my God, I can't even sit still. And if that's the case, then I always recommend a preface. And we might as well all do it because we are all coming from probably busy days, different directions. And so a preface is just taking in a nice big deep breath and then giving your body and your head a shake out, okay? Just shaking out the head, shaking out the shoulders, shaking out the hips, shaking just everything that's gotten stuck in your body and in your face and in your expression, even shaking out your lips. And then letting everything go slack. All right. So I know this might feel a little counterintuitive, but I'm going to ask you to conjure up the situation that is causing you discomfort or pain. And I'm going to ask you to make it as real as possible. So feeling yourself in this situation right here, right now, in this place where it's happening. So where are you? Noticing where you are, noticing what's happening around you, who's around you, or maybe you're on your own. Noticing how you're holding yourself in this situation. What's your body? How you're holding your body. Noticing what's the expression on your face. And to take you there, you might even replicate that expression right here and now. You might scrunch your face up, or you might get heavy, or whatever might be that painted on smile. But whatever you can do to kind of get yourself connected to this situation and this feeling. And notice if there are others around you, what they're doing, how they are, their body language, what they're saying. And if it's just you, what's happening in this space? What's it feeling like? What's it sounding like? Okay, and now we start with F for feel. So I want you to notice in this situation what you're feeling. Not what you're doing or hearing, but what you're feeling. And it might help to notice where in your body you're feeling it. Where are you feeling sensations? Is it in the heart? Maybe it's in the throat. Maybe it's in the gut or the crown of the head. And really allow yourself to feel that. Don't usher it away. Don't distract yourself, but breathe into it and feel it. And I know this feels uncomfortable and I know it's the last thing you want to do, but the only way past something is through it. So you need to be able to breathe into it. And notice, what's that feeling? What's that sensation like in your body? Is it tight? Is it heavy? Maybe it's frenetic. Maybe it feels like squeezing or a burning or a deep aching or emptiness. Maybe there's a hardness or a numbness. Just really noticing. Again, not making it wrong, allowing whatever is. Feel it. And in this place, this pained place, this is where there's a really scared, hurt, vulnerable part of you residing. And so we're going to move on to the A of face, which stands for ask. So I just want you to get really curious and really tender. And this place in your body, wherever you're sort of feeling the sensation, this is part that you're kind of asking. And you're just saying, okay, buddy, what's really happening here? What's really happening? What are you most scared of? Or what's most hurting you? Asking and listening. You could also ask this part of you, what are you believing about yourself or the other person or the world that's making you feel this way? What's the story that you're telling yourself? And if those answers still feel pretty surface, keep digging, like what's really happening? What's really causing this pain? What's at the bottom of it? And whatever comes up, breathing into it. And then we move on to the C of face, which stands for care. And so now that we have a better sense of what is really happening, we're in a much better position to bring the care that we need, that our inner world needs right now. So first of all, just being really tender with this part of you, realizing that you've been doing the best you can with what you've been capable of at the time. At this moment in time, you've done all that you have been able to do. And these beliefs, that you're maybe coming up for you, they didn't come from you. They probably came from the world around you a very long time ago. So first of all, just having a little bit of mercy on yourself. But now in the sea of face, I really want you to look for what is it that you most need right now to remedy this as the antidote to this feeling or this belief. In fact, you could ask that hurt part of you, sweetheart, what do you most need right now? What is it you most need right now? Then you might have this little voice that just says, God, I just need to be held. Or you might have, you might feel that, God, like, I want to roar. I want to roar and be heard. And whatever comes up, I just want you to do your best to let that energy come up. Okay, to just flood your body, to almost surround yourself with that energy. So if it was like, I just want to be held, well, then find yourself being held. Okay, feel as if there is a giant presence around you holding you. Maybe it's Mother Earth holding you. Maybe you imagine a giant version of yourself holding you and rocking you. Maybe you think back to one of your grandmothers holding you. However and whatever it takes to bring this feeling, this care to you right here, right now, to just bring this energy that is the medicine, do it. And the medicine, the particular flavor of care might be this burst of energy. It could be a ripple of playfulness. It could be this deep belonging within this universal nature. It could be just soft understanding. So I'm just going to be quiet for a second, and I just want you to keep asking, what is it you most need, buddy? What is it you most need, sweetheart? And again, if you need some help in this, if what you're yearning for isn't, if you're not able to tap into that, and by the way, if you yearn for it, it already exists in you. You wouldn't be able to yearn for it if you didn't already have an experience of it. Okay, so you can conjure it up, but you can also look for help. You can, like I said, you can turn to a more expansive, powerful, or wise version of yourself to bring you the energy you're looking for. Or you can look to a loving being that you've known in the past. Or you could look for a spiritual being that resonates with you. It could be your dog bringing you this energy. It could be your long lost aunt or uncle who represents this energy for you, and enlist their help to bring it to you. And then I just want you to feel this energy that is the medicine, this energy that is your care. I want you to breathe into it. And I want you to feel it go into every organ in your body. I want you to feel it go into every limb and every finger and toe. I want you to feel this energy in your cells. No resisting it, no overthinking it, just letting this energy wash over you. And now, with that energy sort of filling you up, guiding you, I want you to find yourself back in the situation we started in. But I want you to notice, and I want you to bring this energy back with you to this situation. And I want you to feel this situation play out when you're embodying this care, this medicine, this remedy. Okay, so whatever that energy is, breathe it, live it, feel if your body and the way you hold your body changes, see if your expression changes, see if what you say or do is different. Or maybe it's just how you perceive it that changes. So I'm going to let you just play this situation out with this energy leading the way. Excellent. And this step was the E of face, evolve. So now bringing this information and especially bringing this energy back to this present moment, back to this place, and just letting yourself rest in it. All right, big, deep grounding breath. And letting go with an exhale. Ah. And when you're ready, you can come back to eyes open. So I would love to hear a little bit about the experiences that you had. Now, face, just like any other tool, gets stronger the more you use it. So if there were parts of it that didn't quite click for you yet, no worries. This was the first time using a tool. Sometimes we're a little clumsy with it. And again, I'm going to take you through step by step how to do this. And also, if you're someone who isn't a sort of fast processor, this is an exercise that can also be done as a written exercise. So we'll talk about that in a second. But I'd love to hear in the comments, first of all, and I won't mention names, but I'd love to hear what was the care, the sea of face, what quality, what was the medicine that came up, what was the energy that you needed to embody, that surround yourself with. Really love to hear that. And also, I would just love to hear if anybody would like to share a little bit about their journey, or if they have a question about their journey. Remember, your sharing can be very helpful to everyone else, because what other people might be what you're experiencing, other people might be experiencing. So just hands up if there's anybody who would like to share, even if it's just one little piece, or if you have a question. While people are deciding that, I'm just going to read out a couple that are coming up. Someone said care was the hard part. It seemed to shift and not settle on anything. Okay, I'll address that in just a second. Someone said energy of a hug. I actually hugged myself and it felt good. Yes, beautiful. Another said medicine was compassion and patience for myself. Yes. Oh my goodness, just a little compassion for ourselves goes a long way. Another person said the medicine was confidence, belonging, feeling that through the whole body. And another person said acceptance. Acceptance was the medicine. And for another person, calm was the medicine. Amazing. Well, okay, so I'm going to address the comment about care being the hard part. It seemed to shift and not settle on something. And so, yeah, again, this is about practice. And so that's why I gave sort of lots of different possibilities, but maybe there were too many possibilities. Maybe that was what was happening for you. So the first thing you want to ask with the care is, just where in the, like, first of all, sometimes it's really good to bring your hand to the place that's hurting in your body when you ask yourself, what is it you most need right now? What is it you most need right now? And it's not what do you usually need? What did you need last week? But right now, what is it you need? Okay. And that's often a really powerful question. And sometimes it's just a very knee-jerk sort of response. And then if it doesn't come clearly, then you just sort of go into your more intuitive sense, and you're just like, what am I longing for? Like, what would just make this feel better? What would make this feel better? Could it be space? Could it be love? Could it be humor? Could it be wildness? Could it be irreverence? That medicine doesn't all have to be sweet and soft stuff. That medicine can be warrior-like. Maybe the medicine is like that warrior medicine. Okay, so sky is the limit for this. Let's see, another person commented, I appreciated your suggestions and guidance. It helped. Okay, excellent. So the person that we were just working with said, felt like the pressure in my head, compassion for others, not for self. Can I bring you on? Can we talk this out? You'd be making a beautiful service, Tenebrae. Could you tell me a little bit more about this?
Only if it's service, because it's not for me.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. So you could feel like when you asked, what is it you most need right now? You could feel a sense of compassion for others. Okay. But there was no compassion for yourself.
No, when I tried to search for something that felt like care, it just felt like my head was in a vice. It felt like my body temperature went up and my head was just like pressure, hard pressure.
Yes. Okay. So then we work with what is most visceral. Okay. And so you're feeling pressure and hardness. What's the antidote to that? What's the antidote to pressure or hardness? What could you see? What's seen? Like the wide open sky? Would it be a breeze blowing through? Would it be just a loosening or a softening?
Oh, it's hard to be soft. Feels like action is needed, and there's just so much anger buried under the grief. And seeing anything with animals just I don't know, I guess I just store it up. I don't mean to.
So you know what? Maybe what that squeezed head is calling for is to scream, is to, do that. Like maybe that is what your best medicine is right now. Okay. Maybe your best medicine is to say, fuck the world.
I did that in my car the other day.
Okay. Okay. So you're naturally feeling it. You're naturally feeling probably what you need to do. And so it's about exploring, and it's just about what this pain, this very visceral pressure that I have right now, what do I need to do? Do I need to explode it? Do I just need to explode it? And then you would envision yourself exploding it and just all of it being dissipating into the air. It can be a very much, like I said, like a sensation thing, going into the sensations of it. So right now, just close your eyes for a second, Tenebrae. And so right now, just feeling into this pain place. And it's kind of like, what would really relieve this? Would it be, maybe it's to split this head open and just free all of the stuff I've been holding. Maybe it would be about having the grandmothers come and surround you and gently kiss your head and take away the worries and hold the animals for you. heal them, nurse them back to vitality and spirit. So if it's compassion for others, maybe what you need is you need to draw in the help for that. Maybe you need someone else to hold it with you. Just exploring that. Okay, breath in and coming back to eyes open. So I tried a couple of very different things. One was quite dramatic and violent, and one was very nurturing. And yeah, so it was the big violent, you needed to rip something open. You needed to express this pain, this primal pain that is inside of you very naturally. Okay, so that's what you're getting. That's what it's saying, that in order, your medicine right now is to feel it and to express it and to make it heard. Okay, you're so busy trying to, analyze it away and be sensible about it and everything. No, you need to be in the animal of your being, and you need to howl and screech and dig and shake. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Tenebrae. I think that was probably really helpful to some folks. Yeah, someone said I can totally relate. Okay. Anybody else want a little help with this? That they got a little bit stuck in this exercise? Okay. So we are now going to take it and break it down, because I took you on a longer journey of face. I wanted you to sort of get in a little deeper, but it doesn't have to always be that in depth, okay? It just has to cover the 4 steps: feel, ask, care, and evolve, okay? So this is the place where you might want to take a few notes. As I mentioned, when you are doing face in the moment, and again, your cue for face is, I'm feeling really shitty about something. Okay, that's a pretty easy cue. Like, something's really bothering me. And as soon as you have something's really bothering me, it's time to get a face. Okay, something's really bothering me, and I've tried shaking it out, or I've tried taking some deep breaths. I've tried writing about it. No, then you pull out the face. Okay. And so if, when you pull out the face, you're really in it, like you just walked away from the fight with your partner, okay, or you just came out of seeing, a video of a protest that really activated you, then you may need to do what I called the preface, okay, and that is just releasing a little bit of energy, okay? And almost every Changemaker session, I get you to do a shakeout, okay? And a shakeout can do wonders for just clearing out some of that really energetic, boisterous, frenetic energy, okay? And open up some space for you to be able to do this work. So I call that a preface. But again, if you're not feeling super activated, if you're just, you're just like going, okay, this is something I need to look into, then you may not need the preface. Now, as you might remember, the first step before you even go through FACE is to just really connect with the scenario. Now, like I said, if you just came out of that scenario, you're already connected. You don't need to do any work around it. Okay. You're there, you're fuming, you're feeling it. Okay. But if you're a little ways away from it, or it's just this general, like I said, anxiety, well, when was the last time you felt anxious? Like, bring that up in your mind. Or do you feel anxious just generally every morning when you wake up? Then go there. Okay. So the very first, thing is just to really make this feeling as real as possible by making the situation as real as possible. Okay. So with the F of face, feel. So what we're doing is we are really trying to get into not only allowing this feeling so that we can explore it, but we're also just really feeling into it so that we can see if there's more happening than this original anger. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little example of of a time that probably one of the first times I did the process of face, like not really even knowing that it was going to be called face, but I was sort of pulling out different tools, and I, been working on things for a long time. And this was many years ago, but, and it's a pretty funny story. Silly story, but oh my God, when I brought face to it, how much it revealed. So I think my partner and I were going away the next day. So we were just sort of madly trying to get the house ready for, somebody who was staying there. And we were running out of time, and so I usually take care of the bathrooms there. Those are my places. But my partner went to clean the bathroom. And at one point in the middle of this rush, he comes up with a toilet brush and he goes, "You clean the toilet with this thing? It's disgusting." It wasn't even disgusting. It just wasn't probably very useful. But what happened to me? I roared up. There was this immediate anger. And I was like, "How dare you? I take care of the bathroom all the time. You do it this once and you criticize me." And as soon as that activation happened, I went, "Holy crap. Something is happening here." Okay. Something is more than a toilet brush. So luckily I had the sense to be able to go, "Okay, a moment, please." I'm just time out. And I went away. I went to another room. And so the first thing I did was I felt into it. Okay. I felt that anger. And then when I felt in more, I felt shame. Okay. Underneath the anger was just trying to shield the shame. Okay. So the first thing I did was I felt the anger. I let it sort of have its way. I breathed into it. I felt where it was in my body. It was in my gut. And then I breathed into it. And the more I breathed into it, the more there was this sort of sickly sense of shame that was there. Okay. So I knew that there was actually shame. And so the important thing in the feel step is that you don't just go for the vague, what do I feel? Where is it in your body? And what does it viscerally feel like? Okay. Does it feel heavy? Does it feel cloying? Does it feel like stabbing? Does it feel dead? Okay. And really feel where in the body it is. Make it really present. Okay. Make yourself really present to it. Okay, so that's feel. Anybody have any questions about the feel step? Okay, so let's move on to A for ask. So now that you are really in touch with the feeling, okay, then you got to get curious. Okay, so let's go back to my scenario. Anger, and then, oh God, shame. And I had to ask. And I wasn't even maybe aware of the shame. I was like anger and then some other sickly feeling. And so that is when I brought my hands to my gut and I just said, "Sweetheart, what is going on here? Like, what's really going on here?" Okay. And so you can ask yourself that question. You can ask yourself, what's scaring you? Okay. What's hurting you? Another really good question to ask is, what are you believing about yourself or the world that's making you feel this way? Or what's the story that you're telling yourself? For me, what's the story that you're telling yourself that made you explode like the Hulk, like that? And when I got tender and I really asked that place, "What's really going on here, sweetheart?" I heard a little voice that says, "I think I'm dirty." Okay? Little voice that says, "I'm dirty." And I could go into all sorts of reasons why that exists. And most of these things that are going to come up are going to be beliefs that were placed in you at a very young age when you had no choices, okay? When you had no discernment, you couldn't sort of have perspective on anything. You just kind of took what the world and your parents and the caregivers and those close to you around you gave you, and you took it as the truth, okay? And somewhere along the line, I took on that I was dirty. Okay, I was a dirty person. I was a dirty girl, whatever that means. Okay. And I didn't have any clue that I still had this going on in me. Okay. I had no clue until I did this. And so then knowing what it is, knowing what is really the belief that's driving this, the story, the fear, the hurt that's driving this, then you have a much better sense of what the particular form of care is that it needs. Okay, what the medicine is. So we move on to the C of face, which stands for care. Sometimes I also refer to it as the C of compassion. Okay, so this is the part where you become your own healer. Everything that you've been wishing and longing for from the world at large and from others, you take into your own hands and you bring yourself. Okay. And I'm not saying that we have to do everything ourselves, folks, not at all. But you need to know that there is a level of care that you can bring to yourself. Okay. And sometimes our relationships with others show us that, teach us how to care, teach us the ways to show up for ourselves. But ultimately, you need to be able to find ways to soothe yourself, to invigorate yourself, to empower yourself. When you have that power, you start to become unstoppable because you're not afraid. You're not afraid to try things that could hurt, try things that could be embarrassing, to take steps and to live your life in a way that maybe others don't approve of, to create things regardless of who's asking for them. So that's why this exercise is so important. So there's a lot of ways that you can work with the care part. Okay. You can, knowing what it needs, you can just bring up that energy, feel almost like that energy that you most need. That's the antidote, is surrounding you. Okay. It's like surrounding you and holding you, or maybe you feel like you're injected with it. So let me tell you what happened in my C. So after hearing this little voice that said, I'm dirty, I'm scared, I'm dirty, I said, I became the good mother to that voice. Okay. I just became that loving mother, almost with a little bit of a sense of humor. And I said, oh, honey, everybody's dirty. Doesn't matter how hard we clean, we're never going to be totally clean. And I put my hand on my gut in this really soft way. And I said, honey, it's okay. You're just, you are just human, and you aren't going to be perfect all the time. And that's okay. I love you. I'm here with you. Just relax. And so there was that sense of soothing. There was that sense of humor. There was a feeling of holding this little pained being. There was normalizing it. Okay. And I mean, I knew she meant dirty in lots of different ways, but that was the very visceral one. So I really wanted to just sort of address that. And I just said, and sometimes, and I did say this to her as well, this part of me as well. I said, and you know what? Dirty's good sometimes. Like, maybe we need to get messy more often. Maybe we shouldn't try to be so fucking perfect. Let's get dirty. Okay. Like, that's what, like, that's the kind of process I had with myself. So that was the care. Though that was the care. And from tapping in and getting tender with this place, that's what just naturally came up in me. And again, that's practice. It's not necessarily going to happen for you overnight, but the more you practice, the more you're going to intuitively know what the care is that you most need. So some ways to find out that care, okay, while you're still trying to get good at this part of it. One thing is to, first of all, just again, have some true tenderness and understanding for this part. Oh yeah, of course you feel dirty. You had this happen to you. You had this message. You blah blah blah. Okay, and then he comes out with a toilet cleaner and berates you. He didn't berate me. He was just, but that, like I had to sort of meet myself and go, I understand. That doesn't give me an excuse necessarily for blowing up like the Hulk, but sweetie, I understand. And we're going to work through this together. Okay. That was the message I had with myself. And so, so that tenderness and that understanding that you did the best you could with what you knew at that moment. Maybe we can do better in the next moment. All right. So a question to ask yourself is, what do you most need right now? Just like I just did with Tenebrae. What is it you most need right now? Or what is it you need from me? Okay. And you might hear that little voice say, I just need to know that I'm not strange. Or I just need to know that I'm not in this alone. Okay. Or I just need to feel loved. So you'll get that, you might get that information from you, or again, you may just like feel into the visceral quality of it and go, oh God, I need loosening. Okay, I just need to loosen. I just need to loosen my body, or I really need to be seen. I really need somebody to see me. And maybe you envision one of the most loving people you've ever met in your life, like holding your face and saying, I see you. I see what you've been doing. I see what you've been trying. Okay. And again, you could conjure up your most wise self. Often I do that with myself. Like you heard me. That was my wise self, answering that little voice that said, you're dirty. My wise self said, everybody's dirty. Don't sweat it. And let's get dirty. That was my wise self. Okay. That was my expansive self saying that. And so, yeah, just checking in, like in that heart space, tapping into that heart space, okay, and seeing what comes out. So for some people, they're gonna, the answer, the care is going to be that the antidote is going to be space. So they're going to feel like the roof gets blown off the place and there's just all of this open air. Some of you are going to go, oh, the medicine is courage. And you're going to feel this fire through your body. Or maybe you're going to feel that person that most has encouraged you in your life behind you going, yes, I got you. I've got your back, maybe it's going to be, oh God, I just need to be forgiven. And just from the bottom of your heart, you're just going to say to yourself, forgiven, forgiven. Okay. So whatever comes up, you're just going to let yourself sort of bathe in whatever comes up. You're going to feel that. Okay. So after I said this to my sort of wiser, good mother said this to myself, this feeling of, oh, it's okay, I've got you. And let's be a little bit playful about it and everything. Then I took myself back into the situation. And I actually literally took myself back into the situation, but you will want to practice this. You're going to want to imagine yourself in the situation, back in that situation, except really filled with this medicine, this energy that came to you in the C. And that's where we move into the E, evolve. Okay. So in the last step, seeing yourself back in that scenario, letting this energy be what steers it. Okay. And then just exploring it. Okay. Just exploring it. Do I hold myself differently? Is there a different expression on my face? Are my words different? Or maybe I don't speak at all this time. Or maybe I take responsibility. Or maybe I draw a boundary and say, screw that, no more. Or maybe it's just a slight adjustment. Maybe I look at the person with more understanding and tenderness. Okay. And you can't control what the other person does, but I tell you, the energy that you bring to a situation can be very powerful. So what did I do? My answer, my evolve was to go back to my partner and to say, I'm sorry for blowing up. I just want you to understand where this was coming from. So I told him what I found. And then I said, so I'm going to ask you to be a little gentler with me around things like this. Okay. Just if you can be just a little bit more aware and a little bit gentler that this can be a sore spot for me. And that was my evolve. Simple as that. Okay. So again, I have done this process so many times. I'm not sure why I chose the toilet brush one. It's such a silly one, but I guess because it was one of the first times I took it through the four steps, it felt powerful for me. And so, yeah. So after your evolve is done, and you sort of come back out of this sort of feeling and thinking through, it would be a really good time to write a couple of notes. Okay. Like, yeah, next time, just really try to hold space for the person, or shoulders back, or let's try saying this instead. Or maybe what I need to do is I need to set an alarm to make sure that this happens. Or I'm going to get that beautiful painting that inspires me around this energy that I just experienced, and I'm going to put it front and center. Okay. So just do a little brainstorming over how you might be able to bring this energy into the next steps. Okay. So I want to see if first of all, I'm going to go to the chat and just sort of see if there's any other questions, but I would really like to entertain some questions now. And if they're not questions about face, they can be about really anything that you're needing some help around right now. And it's open question time. And so while you're, and if you have a question, you can just go down to the bottom of the screen, make sure you've expanded it enough so you see the reactions, and there is a raise hand function, okay? And if you can't figure that out, you can also put your hand up. But I'm just gonna, while I'm seeing if there are questions, yeah, so Tenebrae, coming back to that sort of what we just did with her, and the splitting and sort of like letting everything free. Tenebrae said, I think this sounds counterintuitive, but tenderness makes me want to run away and panic. Yeah. So you've got to be in tune to what is working for you in this moment, not what you think should work, not what you think most people would. What does Tenebrae need? Okay. In this moment. Yeah. And be open to some wild stuff. Okay. I have in my in my sea of face, I have taken a sledgehammer to something in my sort of vision. I have grown wings and flown. I have grabbed somebody from danger and ran with them. So it could be anything. So just again, there is no limit here. Okay. Someone else asked, sometimes the simplest of things can be so deep and so healing. I love this toilet brush story. Okay, good. I'm glad. Tenebrae, how to safely roar without scaring my dogs. Yeah. Maybe get them part of it. Get them to be part of it. Dogs are the best for getting energy out. Okay. Like a lot of dogs, they'll get, like, if you get going, they're going to get going. They're, and then you're like, and there's this great feedback loop. Get yourself into a frenzy together. Okay. So however you need to express yourself. And yeah, Joyce said you can try roaring into a pillow too. If your dogs are not up for doing your cathartic work with you, then yeah, for sure. All right. Any questions, folks, about anything, this process? Would anybody care to share one little piece that they got from their journey, their face journey, whether it was the F part, the A part, the C part, or the E part? Kip is saying, what do you think the root wound of I feel lost and I want to be found would be? That is what came up for me during face, i.e. the anger relating to the deeper feeling, okay, of I feel dirty. Yeah, okay. Kip, do you mind me working with you?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So this is a great question. So what came up for you when you said, like, what's the feeling? What's happening here? Was I feel lost and I want to be found. So that is often the feeling of a form of powerlessness, okay, that you feel, and aloneness. Okay, so if you were to check in deeper, to ask yourself, is there a deep loneliness? Or perhaps it is that you are tired doing it all on your own. Maybe it is that I feel like I'm holding everything. Like it really does sound like there's a sense of aloneness and you're feeling overwhelmed and you don't feel like you have any support in it. Does any of that resonate with you?
Definitely. And then, like, I thought I was trying to think of the deeper feeling. It could be like, I don't belong, but then I
Mhm.
can't think of the care,
Yeah.
the
It
care
doesn't
is part.
sound like I don't belong. It sounds more like I'm carrying all of this. Okay. And I feel so alone in it. And so, remember in the visualization, I talked about the grandmothers, like taking your cares and, and working with them. So it could be something like care could be just feeling yourself surrounded by people who are loving and are in it with you, even if you don't know them. Okay. Or it could be that you're just, oh God, you've just been going at it so hard for so long that you just need a break. Okay. So maybe that is the care that you need, is a break. And so that break could look like you lying in an open field with no one anywhere and the beautiful big sky above you and just breathing that in. Or it could look like being held. Okay, it could look like you being held by all the great trees, creating this beautiful, hammock or cradle for you, and nurturing you with leaves and you just curling up. Yeah, so when I say those things, any of those resonate with you?
Yes, definitely.
Which,
Yeah.
which
Or
one? Which
even,
one?
the space,
The
the
space one. Yeah.
yeah, space.
Yeah. So that's your care, is space. Okay. That's what your care is at this particular juncture. You need space. Okay. So it's like you're lost because you have no space to find yourself.
Mm,
Okay. You've lost yourself. So you're looking for somebody to find you. So find yourself.
mhm.
Make some space to find yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you find yourself, oh, hold her so tight. So again, as the sea, you could envision like a sort of larger, wiser, expansive version of you finding you and picking you up and saying, "You're home, honey. Don't worry. Come on, let's run. Let's feel some air on her face." Okay. Now, Kip, you are a mother, so mothers can have a special talent in just knowing how to be intuitive about what a being needs. Okay, I'm not saying that people that aren't mothers don't have that as well, but it's something that you have to practice a lot as a mother. And so yeah, like sometimes you could even say, okay, well, if my daughter was in this, was feeling this way, what would I bring her? What feeling would I bring her? And that could work for any of you, because I know a lot of you are just real carers. Okay. You're quite intuitive. You're quite sensitive to others and their needs. So you really could say, like, if I was trying to be a beloved to this being known as Carol or Kirsten, what would I bring them right now? Okay, what would I wrap them up in? What would I infuse them in? Okay, so that could be also another little backdoor place, to go to be able to get the particular form of care. So,
Yeah, thank
Kip,
you.
make
That's
sense?
helpful. Yeah, oh yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
As always, very helpful.
Excellent, darling. Excellent. Okay, well, I hope you have a good run or lie in a field tonight. And often what comes up under C for us can be a tool in itself that we can continue to use, like almost like a mantra. So for example, if Kip decided, hey, I'm going to do like, what feels really good to me right now is this idea of lying in a wide open field and the trees nurturing me and everything. And so every time in the next week, when she starts to feel this sense of, God, I'm lost, or I'm squeezed, or whatever she's feeling, then Kip could bring up this sense of lying in the field. Okay, could just go right back to that field, even for 5 seconds. I have one that I'm working with right now. One that has come to me a few times in face, has been a raft, me on a raft, just on the water. I swear I can feel into that for 5 seconds and wow, just transforms me. Okay. There's a question. What would you give to someone you love if you can't do it for yourself? Okay, I need a little bit of background on this, Tenebrae. Give me a little bit more on this.
Oh, I was just thinking when you say, Kip was a mother, sometimes people can't do for themselves what they would give to someone else, be it their child or a friend or a dog or an animal in need that you don't feel deserving of, but you would willingly give to someone else. So what can you give to yourself that you would gladly do for someone else? Can you do that for yourself?
Yeah, well, that's the whole idea, is that you, just as much as anyone else, is deserving of your love and affection, and you need to practice giving yourself your love and affection. So that can be sort of teed up in the earlier steps of ask. Okay, when you ask, and this pain voice says, oh my God, I'm feeling so undeserving. Okay, say that voice says, I'm feeling so undeserving. And I just really want you to let your heart open to that part of you. Okay, even if you see it as the child inside of you, sometimes, Tenebrae, that helps. Okay, even if you just see this little version of yourself and saying, I feel so undeserving. Sometimes it's easier to start that connection with ourselves when we think of ourselves as a child, that more innocent version of us. I mean, I can look at all of you and I feel so much love for you, just like that. But if I was having problems, if I was finding it challenging, like maybe you were being an asshole or something, I might try to see you as a child. It's an easier end for me to be able to get tender with you and not close my heart to you. And so that can really work when working with yourself. Okay, so when that little voice calls back to you and says, this is what I'm feeling, really feel, oh my God, I've been carrying this. Like, this is what I've been carrying for God knows how long, that I don't deserve this. Oh my gosh. That I feel so much sadness for that part of me. And so what I want to do is I want to say, no, you're deserving. Or I want to throw my arms around that part of myself and just hold them tight. Okay. So that is the sort of thing, like whatever you would do to a beloved that you really care for and you really want to care for, try to see you doing that to this pained part of yourself. Okay, so I luckily I also have a lot of training because I'm a coach. So I have a lot of training in being loving and holding space for people and everything. And it's been really good. The more practice I have in the outer world, the more that I can give myself as well. And vice versa. It's even more important, though, that you create this loving, nurturing relationship with yourself, because that makes you very expansive when dealing with other people. Okay, very expansive. So if the beginning thought is, well, I'm not deserving of this care, Well, just do it for whatever cause, you're passionate about, because if you can learn to be in deeper, more nurturing relationship with yourself, it is going to only make you stronger and more effective and more powerful. Okay. So if you can't think of any other reason, Tenebrae, do it for the animals. Okay. Love yourself, give yourself that affection and that care for the animals, and also because you're an animal. Yeah. Okay. Tenebrae says it helps for me to think of people as dogs, and then I see them as deserving of kindness and care. So see yourself as a dog. Okay. See yourself in the soft animal of your being. Okay. Beautiful. All right, folks. Well, thank you this was a deep process that we worked on tonight, a little bit more advanced, but I thought you were ready for it. And what I'm going to do is you are going to have, we'll have a replay of this up on my YouTube channel. And so, but I'm also going to take the face that we did tonight as its own audio recording. And I'm going to send it to all of the folks that had registered. I'll just send it to everybody on the Changemaker Sessions. That if you have at one point enrolled in the Changemaker Sessions, I'll send you an audio version of this. Okay, just so that you have it at hand. But the other thing that I wanted to mention is this can be done as a written exercise too. So you can, instead of, sort of going through it in your mind, or listening to my guided version of it, which you will have soon as I send that out to you, you could also write it down. So you could do F and write down the feelings. God, I'm feeling really lost right now. And I'm really feeling like I'm disempowered. Like I feel pretty powerless. That's what I'm feeling. Okay. And then the ask, okay, what's really going on here? And then you write from that place, what's really going on here. Okay. I don't feel like I have enough knowledge. I don't feel like, I feel like I'm going to let everybody down, or whatever it is. Okay. And then for C, just write back to that person from that wisest, deepest place, right back to that pain, right back to that little part in you. Okay. Write back what any good, loving parent would write. Okay. Or write what you would write if your bestie said this to you. Okay. And then E, just write what's next. Okay. In this energy now, knowing this care energy, what's next? Okay. And just write some ideas like I'm gonna really speak more loudly, or I'm actually going to, next time I'm going to step away, or I'm really going to call up so and so because they really help to cultivate this energy in me. Okay. All right. So, Joy, I love these deeper experiences too. So I'm so glad you do. You're so welcome for the TLC, Gerbine. Yeah, Melanie, I'll need to work on this more to get the hang of it, but I appreciate this tool. You're so welcome. Yeah, it's an advanced tool, so it will need practice, and the guided meditation will really help. So I would really recommend you do the guided meditation a few more times. So do it with me, and then you could do it as a written thing if you'd like. And yeah, oh, so beautiful appreciation, folks. Jennifer says, I really love this also. I have never experienced something like this before, especially the ask. Too often we just react and keep going and don't explore why. Oh, so true, Jennifer. Thank you so much. All right, folks, I'm going to see you in 2 weeks. Now, I have a little request. I would love to find out. I asked a couple of months ago what topics you'd like covered, and I think I've covered a lot of them. I still have another one or two that I will bring to the table. But if you have a topic that you'd love to see me address in the Changemaker Sessions, just go to one of my emails that I send and reply to it, and just say, I'd love this topic. Okay. Or if you have one right now, put it in the chat. Before we end, hurry quick. And I will be reviewing this chat afterwards, as I always do. Big thank you to Kirsten for being here, my dear. And thank you for helping be my tech backup. And I love seeing all your faces. I hope we'll see you in 2 weeks. I'll let you know via email what the topic is going to be in 2 weeks once I hear a little bit of feedback from everybody. All right. Okay. Can you unmute yourself for a second? I like to hear voices. Good night, everyone.
Thank
you.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
My change makers, go out there and be kind to yourself and help model that for the world. Okay. See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you.